Now that's a pretty good looking weld, and that's going to be up at the top. Nobody's ever going to see that. Before we get started, I got a couple of sticker shout outs. We got Tech Ed Fireman, we follow each other over on Instagram, and King's Fine Woodworking, and that is a really nice sticker he sent. And Yoshi over at the Hodgepodge Garage sent me a sticker, and I'll leave links to all their stuff down below. For those of you who've been following the channel closely, you'll know that I've recently put a retail display filled with hairpin legs out there at Miller's Milling's new showroom in Dixon, California. And they are going like crazy. We could not be happier with the result of that endeavor. But Miller asked me to make some trapezoid legs for coffee tables and end tables, so that's today's project. Now, I don't usually make a CAD model for things that I just build like this. Sometimes it comes in really handy. Take a look. I've made a CAD model, and one of the things that the CAD model allows me to do is capture the angles of the corners. Now, since I plan to just notch this tube and fold it into a trapezoid, having those angles is pretty handy. We'll start at the top, and the top is going to be 15 inches, and we'll mark that. Now, the angle at the top is supposed to be 85 degrees. So that's 42.5 degrees per side. Moving on to the bottom corner, the angle there's going to be 95, so that's 47.5 per side. There it is notched, and if I did this right, this should fold into a perfect trapezoid. Then I can just weld it, smooth off the welds, and paint it. So these two are looking really good. This one's a little tight, but all I need to do is get in there with the grinder and open that up a little bit, and it should work fine. Okay, so I'm not digging the way this thing's coming together. So I'm going to regroup and take another approach. So the results with the die grinder weren't the best. So I broke out the Evolution saw. And the Evolution saw, that didn't do so great either. So I broke out the bandsaw, and that was still not too great. So what I did was I went and bought another saw. So this thing here is called the Slugger, and it's giving me repeatable, accurate cuts every time. So this is what I'm using now. Look how thin that cut is. That's incredible. So I have materials here cut for a total of 4 legs, and the configuration is such that only 2 legs are required per table. One thing I want to do before I weld them up is drill the mounting holes in the top pieces, because it'll be a lot easier to do that on the drill press than with a hand drill afterwards. Plus I'll be able to locate the holes in exactly the same place every time by center punching them. I've already marked them out. After that we'll weld up the fixture, and we're going to do that so I can repeat the process the same way each and every time. Now these are designed to be mounted with a 1/4 inch lag bolt. So one thing I want to do is I want the lag bolt recessed inside the tube. So I'm going to use a step drill to enlarge this hole big enough to fit the socket that will drive the lag bolt in. Okay, now you see those burrs inside there? That is a huge detractor, and that is going to cost me a bunch of time to clean that out. And I can't just leave that there, because a potential customer is going to see that and it just looks like crap. So I think future renditions will not have this enlarged hole, and the bolt will just have to show. Now just to show you what a pain this is going to be, I'm going to have to get in there with a file and file those free, and even then they might not all drop off. That is way too much work. That took me a good 10 minutes to get it this clean, and that is just not acceptable. And here I'm welding all the locator tabs onto the fixture. That way we can locate the tubes in exactly the same place every time we build one. Okay, so here are my trapezoid legs, and the look we're going for is one where you don't see the weld at all. Now, grinding the weld off really reduces the strength of the weld, but you know, it's going to be plenty strong. So we'll grind these welds smooth, and then we'll paint the things and put them on the showroom floor and see how they sell. Okay, now grinding that out is going to be kind of difficult. Now that's a pretty good looking weld, and that's going to be up at the top. Nobody's ever going to see that. Same down here at the bottom. It's right out in plain sight, but it's a pretty good looking weld. I think I'm going to just go with it. It would be really time consuming to grind it out. All that remains now is to prime and paint them. Well, those turned out real nice, and if you need trapezoid table legs, they'll be available exclusively at Miller's Milling in Dixon, California, along with my steel hairpin legs, a bunch of work by other artisans, and last but not least, the giant selection of live edge slabs. I want to remind everyone that if you're watching this video prior to March 1st, 2018, click the link above to make sure you're entered to win the Morgan No. 20 woodworking bench vise that I'm giving away. Retail, these are about $160 new. This one is used, but I went through and refurbished it, and this would make a welcome addition to any woodworker's bench. So that's all for this week. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Click up here to see my last video. Click over here to see something of mine that YouTube thinks you'll like. And have a good one.